I ordered a steak. When it arrived at my table, it was cold, so I asked the waiter to bring me a new one. He said, "No problem." Then he walked away. After 5 minutes, I stopped waving to get his attention and started walking toward the kitchen to grab another steak for myself. When I got there, I saw him arguing with the chef. "He told me to give it to you. Well done, and you made it rare. What do I look like, an idiot?" "Listen here, you little." The chef was fired up. "Get out of here," he yelled. "You're fired." Then he grabbed a meat cleaver and started swinging it around wildly. It looked like he wanted to use it on me. I quickly ran back to my seat before he could hit me with it. Then I heard someone say, "Hey, that guy just took your steak back and now it's gone." "Where did he go?" It was one of the bosses from the Mafia. I immediately stood up in fear and said, "I don't know what happened to it. I swear I only went to the bathroom real quick." The boss wasn't buying it, but luckily another man stepped in before he could make a decision. "Don't worry about it, Tony. It was probably just a mistake. Let's focus on our dinner instead." That saved me, but now I had to figure out what to do next. How could I stop the chef from hurting me without making it obvious? It was time to switch to Plan B. This was the story of a famous mobster who visited a restaurant. One day, a renowned mafia boss known as Don Corleone decided to visit a local Italian restaurant for lunch. Now, it wasn't just any ordinary eatery. No, this place had been a favorite spot for the local crime families for decades. And let me tell you, word had spread about the quality of its food and service. In fact, people would travel from all over the country just to experience this legendary restaurant for themselves. But today was not just another regular day. The Don had his sights set on a particular dish, a succulent veal, parmesan. And when I say succulent, I mean it was absolutely divine. The veal was so tender and delicious, it literally fell apart at the mere touch of his fork. Each bite was like a burst of flavor in his mouth. But there was one small issue.
Ow.
Despite the outstanding quality of the meal, something was bothering the Don, you see. As he savored the taste of that exquisite veal parmesan, he couldn't help but notice that the pasta underneath was cooked to perfection. However, it was slightly oversauced. And let me tell you, the Don was not pleased. Now, normally, such a minor inconvenience wouldn't have bothered him much. But today, he was feeling more irritable than usual. And to be honest, the oversauced pasta really got under his skin. After finishing his lunch, the Don called for the manager and expressed his dissatisfaction with the meal. To be fair, the manager was taken aback by the complaint, since the Don had always praised their food in the past. But he understood that customer satisfaction was paramount, so he promised to personally fix the issue. As the manager rushed to address the Don's concerns, he couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. After all, he had never dealt with a mobster before and didn't know what to expect. Nevertheless, he was determined to make things right and regain the Don's trust. But as he went to inform the chef about the situation, he had no idea that his world was about to turn upside down. The chef, an old and experienced Italian cook named Tony, was renowned for his exceptional culinary skills. He had spent years perfecting his recipes and had built a loyal following among the restaurant's patrons. However, Tony was also known for his hot temper and his inability to handle criticism. So when the manager approached him with the Don's complaint, he reacted in the most unexpected way. Instead of calmly listening to the feedback, Tony flew into a rage, slamming pots and pans and yelling expletives. The manager, shocked by the outburst, tried to calm him down and explain the importance of addressing the issue, but Tony was having none of it. Continued to rant and rave, making it clear that he didn't care about the Don or his feedback. At that point, the manager knew that he had to take drastic measures to ensure the Don did and cause a scene and potentially put everyone in danger. So he decided to take matters into his own hands. With a heavy heart, he went back to the Don and informed him that unfortunately, they were out of fresh pasta and couldn't accommodate his request for a replacement meal. Although the Don was initially taken aback by the news, he understood that sometimes things happen beyond our control. So he accepted the situation and decided to order something else instead, relieved that the Don had taken the news calmly. The manager returned to the kitchen to confront Tony. He explained that his behavior was unacceptable and that he needed to apologize to the Don for his outburst. Tony, still fuming, refused to listen, claiming that he didn't need the job and didn't care about the consequences. That's when the manager made a fateful decision. He fired Tony on the spot. Imagine the chef going on a rampage after being fired. Now add some Mafia involvement, and you've got yourself a recipe for disaster. The manager was well aware of the risks involved in firing Tony, but he felt that it was necessary to protect the restaurant and its customers from potential harm. As he walked out of the kitchen, he could hear Tony swearing and making threats, but he didn't let it bother him. He knew that he had made the right decision. However, what he didn't anticipate was the chain of events that would follow. As the manager tried to clean up the mess in the kitchen, he heard a loud crash followed by screams and chaos. He rushed to the dining area to investigate, and what he saw left him speechless. Tony had gone on a rampage, smashing plates and glasses, flipping tables and chairs, and threatening the customers with a meat cleaver. The scene was pure pandemonium. People were running for their lives, trying to escape the angry chef's wrath. Some were injured in the commotion, while others hid under the tables in fear. The manager, shocked and horrified by the scene, knew that he had to act fast. He grabbed a fire extinguisher and rushed to help a waitress who was trapped behind the counter. Together, they managed to calm down some of the frightened customers and escort them to safety. Meanwhile, Tony continued to wreak havoc, yelling and screaming and threatening to hurt anyone who tried to stop him. It was like a scene straight out of a mob movie. Just when the manager thought it couldn't get any worse, he saw the Don standing up from his table, calmly approaching the chaos. Everyone watched in suspense as the Don slowly made his way through the crowd, his eyes fixed on Tony. As he got closer, Tony noticed the Don and his face turned pale. He had no idea that the boss had witnessed his tantrum and feared that he might be in trouble. But then something unexpected happened. The Don, with a calm and collected demeanor, reached out his hand to Tony and offered him a handshake. "Nice work, Tony," he said, his voice surprisingly gentle. "You really know how to handle a situation?" Tony, confused and surprised by the Don's reaction, hesitantly shook his hand. He couldn't believe that the Don was praising him after the outburst. But as he looked into the boss's eyes, he saw a glimmer of admiration and respect. The Don then turned to the rest of the crowd and addressed them, his voice booming and commanding attention. "Everyone calm down. There's no need for this level of chaos." As if by magic, the crowd instantly hushed, their eyes glued to the Don. Even Tony, who had been causing all the ruckus, felt a sudden sense of calm wash over him. The Don, with his effortless command of the situation, had restored order in a matter of seconds. Once the crowd had settled down, the Don approached the manager and commended him for his actions. "You did well today," he said. "Handling that situation with Tony showed maturity and quick thinking. Keep up the good work." Relieved and grateful for the Don's praise, the manager nodded in response. From that day forward, the manager was treated like a hero by the restaurant staff and customers alike. They had witnessed his bravery and quick thinking, and it had earned him their respect and admiration. The incident with Tony, however, had a profound impact on the restaurant's operations. After the Don's visit, management decided to implement stricter measures to prevent similar incidents from happening again. It provided additional training to the staff on how to handle difficult situations and reinforced the importance of maintaining a safe and welcoming environment for customers. Additionally, they revised their hiring process to ensure that they brought on board individuals who were not only skilled in their respective roles, but also had the necessary emotional intelligence and composure to handle challenging customers. In the end, the restaurant emerged from the ordeal stronger and more resilient than ever before. Not only had they learned valuable lessons about safety and customer service, but they had also gained a deeper appreciation for the importance of staying calm and level-headed in the face of adversity.